greet our friends everywhere with Chapter 21 of Thunder in the Heather, the story of John Knox. This is another in the series, Stories of Great Christians, and is brought to you from the Moody Bible Institute in Chicago.
I think 6 months in England will be good for both of us, John. I'm glad the General Assembly brought up the matter of the English clergy.
It's a dark day when the ministers of God begin to be punished for not wearing the trappings of Rome. The kirk in England seem to be doing well, but note, Margaret, how soon the old ways creep back to entice men into error. I've spent my life to free the kirk from enslavement. It's still a wonder if it's not been all in vain.
It's a fine thing what the General Assembly is doing, writing to the English brethren with the request that the ministers of God be united in the matter of wearing robes.
What has Christ to do with Belial? They must be exhorted to denounce surplice, caps, and all Romish trappings.
And it will be grand to see the boys again. Imagine Nathaniel being 10 already.
His grandmother writes that he does well at school.
Poor Eliezer. He tries so hard to catch up to Nathaniel. He just doesn't want to admit that he's younger.
By a year only.
But he can't do the same lessons. And it breaks his wee heart.
I suppose the Queen will rest easy knowing that we are out of the realm for a while.
John, it is always the Queen, the Queen, the Queen. Can you not forget her for a moment?
No, I canna.
Have you no pity for her at all?
Because she was with child and saw her Riccio murdered before her eyes, and talk having it that her husband was behind the murder. Wife, you have a woman's heart.
Well, I see a side of her that you do not. She is a human soul.
Not to me.
John.
When I was a lad and heard of the burning of Patrick Hamilton, I was disturbed and couldn't understand why such a man should burn. I looked about and couldn't understand how it could be. The kirk was steeped in vice, and the very men that burned young Patrick were themselves not half the man as he. But I was a lad then. As years passed by, Margaret, I saw Scotland drooping into her grave from the sickness of the kirk, and any healthy man who purged himself and cried out warning was silenced. George Wishart and man upon man after him until the fires of their burning lit the sky.
Oh, John.
We fought in those days, sword upon sword for the life of the kirk, and Scottish blood flowed gladly for the purity of the body of Jesus Christ. Victory was almost ours. The Parliament was won. The laws were passed in Scotland for the good of the Reformed Kirk. And then came young Jezebel from France with her flashing eyes and pretty ways, and one by one the lords fell under her Romish spell. The race was almost over, wife, when she came, and she snatched the prize out of my grasp.
But surely the race is not over yet, John.
With her inner whiles and wait-a-bits, and certainly I will. She put off every act of Parliament on behalf of the kirk until the preachers were starving and the people discouraged. You say she's a human soul. To me, she's the living symbol of the whole edifice of Babylon, evil and ruthless.
John, let's try to forget about Queen Mary for a while. I shall love seeing England and the boys again, and showing them their 3 baby sisters.
Aye, they haven't seen the new baby.
Come, John, lift down the trunk for me and we'll have a holiday. Perhaps when we return, things will be quieter in Scotland. All the storm of Riccio's murder will be past, and the Queen and Darnley will settle down to quieter days.
There'll be no quiet days in Scotland for many years yet.
Oh, John, come now. The trunk for our holiday. Elizabeth, go to sleep like your father. You must get lots of rest. We'll be going home to Scotland soon, and you won't sleep well on that journey. What can that mean? Tis a funeral chime. John, wake up.
What's wrong?
The bells on Buckingham Palace are tolling a funeral chime. Listen.
It means the death of royal blood. Who could it be?
I could not think the country would make such a stir over the murder of Darnley.
They do not know as we do, my queen, how well rid the world is of such a man.
Let us not go over his faults again.
You are so aloof from me, Mary.
No, I have found the very drapes in this palace of eyes, my Lord Bothwell.
So there will be a trial.
You will be acquitted. And then, together, we will rule Scotland.
Love.
Oh, please, you must go now. It is better that you are not seen with me until after the trial.
Then we will rock Scotland with our love.
But not too much, I pray. Not too much.
Three months, I say, after the murder of her own husband, Lord Darnley, Tremelish's murderer, James Hepburn, Lord of Bothwell.
But the people of Scotland will not brook rule by an adulteress.
And a murderess.
And the Rome lover.
You can't blame Rome for her.
What are you doing? Defending the Pope, are you?
What is it to ye?
I'll show you what it is.
What are you fighting about the empty heads? The Queen's already been taken prisoner.
Aye! Burn her! Burn the witch!
I return to Scotland with all speed to be here present at the meeting of the General Assembly of this realm. But I come before you nobles in astonishment that you should be so divided as to what to do with the Queen. Prisoner she is in Lochleven Castle, but as long as you spare her life, there'll be no peace in this land. You tell me that Elizabeth of England has sent Lord Throckmorton of it to Edinburgh to urge me to leniency for Queen Mary. But I would that I had been here to tell him for myself that the wrath of God on Scotland can only be averted by her being brought to justice and executed for her crimes.
Master Knox, you are too extreme in your advice. The country and the nobles themselves are divided in their loyalties. Some feeling the Queen ought to be reinstated, some saying that her infant wee James ought to be made king, with Moray as regent for him. But few say she ought to be put to death. 'Tis not a light thing to spill royal blood.
It's not a light thing either to seek the destruction of the Kirk of Jesus Christ, as she has done.
She is now our prisoner. She must agree to our terms. We will see that the Reformed Church is protected and nourished.
The very fact that Mary has won some of the nobles back to her witching side, aye, and some of the people, is all the more reason why she must die. There will never be peace or unity in this land as long as she lives. And why should she be excused for the crime of murder and the murder of her own husband, the king?
I propose that Mary be deposed and her son made king.
No!
Let the General Assembly vote. Mary Stuart to be deposed from the throne of Scotland for her crimes, and her infant James crowned king of the realm and Moray as regent until James is of age to rule.
There, wee Bess. Don't cry. Don't cry. Go to sleep. It's all right. You're safe with your mother. Shh. Go to sleep. That's right, my babe. Go to sleep. That does it.
Where's old Hee-Haw? Sends his daughter to the door.
We want John Knox.
The traitor!
Heretic!
Get away! Get away, all of you! Can you not leave a mother and her 3 barons in peace? Get away, I tell you. I've had enough of your yelling and throwing and terrifying my babes with your noise.
Let Knox come out and we'll go away!
He is not home, I tell you. If you want to see him, why don't you go to St. Giles? He's there preaching.
He's home and he won't come out.
Since when has my husband been afraid of the likes of you? No, get away, I tell you, and leave me in peace.
He's at St. Giles, you say?
Aye, he's in St. Giles.
And the wrath of God is unleashed in this realm. Why is the force that divides Scotland and brings confusion and rioting throughout this land? It is the life of Mary, which was foolishly spared by the lords when she was prisoner in Lochleven Castle. What has she brought to Scotland but ruin and bloodshed? First the murder of Riccio, albeit a man Scotland was well rid of, then the murder of her husband the king, which she wickedly ordered. That she had a hand in his death is as plain as her speedy marriage to Bothwell, the actual murderer. But the tender lords of the realm wanted to spare her pretty life. Moray would be regent for her son, and all would be well in Scotland. Yet even in exile, her evil struck in Edinburgh, and how swiftly was Moray assassinated. A man of God, and now at rest in Christ. And still our land is brought low and full of conflict. And why? Because Mary lives. She lives, and as long as she lives, Scotland.
What is that? Mr. Knox! Mr. Knox, what happened?
Take me home, Richard. Of a pain. Of a pain.
What's the matter?
And so we conclude Chapter 21 of Thunder in the Heather, the story of John Knox. This has been another in the series, Stories of Great Christians, produced in the radio studios of the Moody Bible Institute of Chicago.